No judgment, just real talk. This is the Apology Accepted podcast. The views expressed on the Apology Accepted podcast are those of the host and guest and do not reflect the views of any affiliate organization or individual. The content is for informational and entertainment purposes only and should not be considered professional advice. For personal, legal, or emotional matters, please consult a qualified professional. By continuing to listen to this podcast, you acknowledge and accept this disclaimer. Hey friends, welcome back to the Apology Accepted podcast, the space where we dive into real conversations about healing, growth, and creating the life we deserve. I am your host, LaTesha Monique, and I am so grateful to have you tune into this episode. This episode invites you to take a step back and ask yourself a powerful question. What does success really mean to me? So, redefining success. We often chase society's definition of success, like big titles. We want those huge titles, big, mega titles, luxury lifestyles, and high salaries, of course, right? Without stopping to ask if any of that actually aligns with who we are or what we truly want. In this episode, we'll challenge those conventional ideas, reflect on our personal journeys, and explore what success looks like when it's defined by purpose, peace, and personal growth. No pressure. Whether you're building a business, raising a family, healing from trauma, or simply trying to rediscover yourself, you deserve to define success on your own terms. So let's unpack my 3 points here. All right. So the first point is going to be unpacking society's definition of success. And my second point is going to be success versus fulfillment, because that's a thing. And then my third point is going to be creating your own success blueprint. So, unpacking society's definition of success. How do individuals view if someone else is successful? When you look around, whether you're at work or out and about, happy hour, hanging out, whatever the case may be, when you look around, how do you determine if the next person that you see is successful? We break down how success is often portrayed through social media, pop culture, and even family expectations, like owning a luxury car. That might equal success in somebody's eyes. Having a 6-figure salary job, that may equal success to someone. Or this is a new thing that I've been seeing through social media, consistently being in like hustle mode has come to the forefront of equaling out to this success. Now, that's society's way of looking at how people should be viewed as successful or not. When you look at somebody and they dress and they appear to have on name brand clothes. Now, we're not going to go into detail whether these name brands are inspired by or actual things, because, with the new thing that's going around on TikTok, everything is inspired, maybe. I don't know. Quotation marks. So, but what we base it off is when we see people that, you got on Gucci, you got on Fendi, you got on Prada, sometimes we equal that as, oh, that person is successful. Why? Because that's what social media tells us. That's what music tells us. That's what videos. Do people still watch videos? Whatever. That's what it tells us. That when you have all of these things, brand everything, where it's jewelry, clothes, whatever, this equals your success. Now, when we talk about real life, real just ordinary people, what does success look like to us common folks, us ordinary people, us regular 9 to 5ers or small businesses? How do we view success? Are we looking at it from the standpoint of social media? Because social media has become this grand thing. And this is how people are like literally basing their everything off of, not only their success but their livelihoods, their looks, their journeys. Everything is kind of looking like it's being based off of social media. So for the individuals that may not do social media like that, or regular, your 9 to 5, your small businesses, us individuals, how do we view our success? And so for me, I suffer from migraines, and I've shared that on a few episodes. So for me, if I wake up without a migraine, that is success for me. Okay? And that's how I start my day, right? That for me is success. When we go on into the financial part of things, I'm not homeless. I have food. I have clothes. So for me, that is success. Now, my clothes come from regular stores, and to be honest, I don't even know the last time I really been into a mall. I think I do mall when I am maybe with friends or something like that. But for me by myself, and I'm saying, you know what, I need a shirt or I need a pair of jeans, the mall is not the first thing to come to mind for me. Okay, I am definitely a secondhand shopper. I am a thrifter. I love thrifting. And yeah, that's how I get most of my things. So 90% of all of my clothing come from some type of Walmart, Target, Ross, Marshalls, Burlington, stores like that. Those are my stores. Those are my go-to stores. Amazon has become my new go-to place to purchase any type of clothing. I mean, Amazon, to purchase anything, basically. But for me, that's success. I think I am successful because I am not on the streets. So, yeah, that's successful. Now, 6-figure job, yeah, I don't have that. Luxury car, well, I think my car is a luxury car. I have a hybrid. I'm a Lexus girl, so I like Lexus. I don't think it'll ever come a time where I'm going to be like, ooh, I want this BMW or this Maserati or this Benz. I don't really like those type of cars. You know what? I'm not gonna say I don't like them. I like those type of cars, but I don't want that type of car, because I do understand the maintenance on those type of cars. So Lexus, that's where I'm at. I'm a Lexus girl. So my hybrid to me is a luxury car. All right, so yeah, I got a luxury car. I'm gonna go ahead and name it. I got a luxury car. The consistency in being on hustle mode. I don't know how I look at that, because I consider myself to always, when I think of hustle, I think of ideas. So if you always either talking about your brand, trying to sell your brand or your product, your services, that's a hustle mode. And yeah, I think that's successful for the most part, in my opinion. I don't know. Let me know if you guys agree or disagree. Put some in the comments. Let me know. Chat me up. Because you might say, girl, that don't hustle mode. No. But for me, I think, society look at that as being successful. And I think I might look at that as being successful as well. But in a lot of cases, people feel like a failure for not having a degree by a certain age. Even though you may be thriving in your career or on your entrepreneurial journey, still not having that degree to solidify this specific accomplishment can make you feel like a failure. And I can speak from experience from that. Like, I am currently in school, and no lie, I've been in school since I graduated high school. I really feel like I have, okay? Because I have always either taken a class here, taken a class there, like, not really consistent in school, just really picking up a class here and there when I could pay for it, right? So I didn't, do the whole traditional, once you graduate, you go on to college. No. And so sometimes I do get in my head about, man, I am 40 plus years old, 3 kids in college, a daughter in high school, now discovering what she wants to do, colleges she want to go to. And education is definitely something that has always been talked about in my household with my children. So the family that I created, education has always been a topic. So it did come to, like, oh my gosh, like, I'm sitting here saying education is key, but my highest level of education is high school, which for me, that is successful, because, baby, I'm an 80s baby. Okay. So some folks that I went to school with ain't walked that walk with me, for whatever reason. And so for me, even obtaining a high school diploma, even in my circumstances, my living circumstances at that time, I think it's successful, right? But I still, because I'm human, feel like, sometimes, not all the time, that not having a degree at my age has definitely played a part in sometimes me thinking that, Lord, I done failed. Even though I have been consistent in my career path for the past 20 years. So for the past 20 years, I have been in some type of role in human services, mental health services. So that is successful. Even though I don't have the degree, I have still had a field where I've worked for 20 years. consistently. So we have to look at things like that because, yes, you might not have a degree, but if you've been on your job for 10 years, that is successful. A lot of people can't hold a job for 10 days, 10 hours. Okay? You might not have a degree, but guess what you did? You've been on your job for so long where now you have these different certifications. And that's successful when you've been trained to do another part of the job, or, get promoted to do something else. That is successful. Whether it's getting a CDL, and now instead of you working inside the warehouse, you now driving the trucks. Working in a place where, all right, maybe you started off in the cubicles answering the phones doing customer service, and now you a field person, getting individuals to partner with the company that you're working for. Whatever the case may be, it is all successful. Having something consistently, doing something consistently, for me, is success. So we need to start making sure that we applaud ourselves for all the things that we do, even if we feel like it's really small. Okay? And if you are somebody like I used to be when I first got on social media, I started messing around with Facebook in 2009. That's when I was introduced to Facebook. And when I tell you, it was it was one of those things where it was just like, oh my gosh, this person is younger than me, and they have already, in my eyes, surpassed, where I feel like I want to be. And social media will make us feel like we are so small, depending on who you are. Let me just stick with me. Social media has had a point in my life where it made me feel like I was so small because I felt like that people were maximizing that we're on here. And what we have to realize is this: people share the glory, people share the great, and we don't know what people actual lives look like, and we don't know what goes on behind closed doors of people's homes. So where it may look like somebody is on this grand scale, I'm not necessarily saying that they're not, but being a entrepreneur for a while, what I know for sure is that being in business don't always have sunshine days. Okay? And I know for a fact that as an entrepreneur, it is definitely some very, very hard days that come to business owners, whether you're small, whether you're big. Business owners get days that are just hard, And so most of the business owners that we see on social media are in the category of the small business owners. So yeah, we're going to always see the glam of their life, because who really reports the negative? Who reports the failures? But in order to be successful, you have to have some type of failures, because you have to know how to grow. You're going to have to figure out how to grow. And if you never make a mistake, then how do you grow? You don't, So that brings to my next point, where it's success versus fulfillment. We have explored the idea that success doesn't always equal happiness or peace of mind. you can have it all and still feel empty if you're not living in alignment with your values. Like, for example, a corporate professional who's been on their job for years and they up there with the 6 and 7 figure, folks. This corporate professional leaves their high paying job to, let's say, open up their own business. Maybe, I don't know what's popular now, wellness. Like opening up a wellness studio. People might say, well, what? Okay. But finding joy in helping others and having more time for family might supersede that high paying corporate job, because that high paying corporate job may come with, well, ain't no may. Anybody that got a high paying corporate job, you are definitely stressed. Okay? And it might not be every day, but you're stressed. You're on somebody else's time with a demand that has to be met, a timeline. So the corporate professional says, you know what? I'm going to go and I'm going to start my own thing. That may not make sense to everyone. They probably encountered and told, hey, I'm putting in my notice and I'm about to start my own thing. Oh, what you about to do? I'm about to start a wellness studio. Girl, what? Or, bruh, what? Okay? And so that's that success versus fulfillment. Because how many of us are actually in our corporate position and we are honestly fulfilled? Is not a lot of people. Now, we do have some people who are in corporate world and at the top, and they're fulfilled because that has been their dream goal probably since they were a kid. But someone that didn't really have that goal and kind of like landed a job, and then we get comfortable, so now we just at the job and we see growth. So, okay, maybe we can move up in the job, and next thing you know, we have a corporate higher position, but that ain't really what we want to do. It's just that, we was able to do it. We worked hard. We was promoted, which is successful, absolutely. But a lot of people find themselves not really wanting to be in those positions because, again, the higher your salary, the higher the demand when you are talking about corporate employment. Okay, so some people might value the smaller things like helping others, spending time with family. That is more important to a lot of people today. I know several people that have definitely stepped out on faith. Like, sheesh. Okay, have stepped out on faith and said, you know what? I want to work for myself. I want to do what I want to do as far as what I enjoy, what my passion is. Because here's the truth of the matter. When you work for yourself as an entrepreneur or a small business owner, you getting your business off the ground, you are going to work twice as hard than the average 9-to-5 individual. And we can argue this for those who might be like, no, you are. Because is no cutoff time. Is no cutoff time. See, when you work your 9 to 5, you know you done went in at 9, 8, 8:39, whatever time you go in. And you know when you get off, whether it's 4, 4:30 or 5, 5:30, whatever case may be, when you get off of work, how many of us said, shoot, I'm done. I'm off. I don't want to talk no more about the job. I've said that plenty of times. I'm off. You know, the weekends, I'm off. I was not even talking to coworkers when I was off of work. Why? Because I was off and I didn't want to talk to nobody that reminded me about the job. That was me personally. When you make the decision to be an entrepreneur, start a small business, your mind does not shut down. Like, that is definitely one of the things I always talk about when I hear my young ladies say, I want to be a business owner and I want to, own my own hair salon and I'm going to be a cosmetologist. And I had one young lady, she wants to be what do you call a sports manager? I think that's what it is. So I just like to remind individuals that, working for yourself is twice as hard than it is going to somebody's job, knowing what they want you to do and kind of doing it. And guess what? When you are off the clock, you are off the clock. When you have your own, is no such thing as off the clock. You have to literally try to turn your brain off in order to have peace. And that's not always an easy task, but it's definitely necessary. But that's the fulfillment part for some people. Because if you are a person that, like the young lady, I think it's sports management, she wants to discover. Should I use the word discover? I don't know. She wants to help sports people get their contracts, I think. Or discover these sports people and be like, you know what? You should be in the NFL. I don't really know how it works, but that's along the lines of what she want to do. And so that's her passion. She loves watching sports. She understands it. She know what a good athlete looks like. These are the things that she enjoys. She goes to so many games. And I'm not just talking about one sport. I'm talking about all sports. Women, men, soccer, golf. She is definitely that person that kind of likes all of the sports versus saying, well, I only do football, I only do basketball. But that's her passion. And she has already done her research. So if she applies and start working for someone as an agent, she definitely can make money. And she sees that. She sees that she can definitely make money, especially with her already knowledge and already passion for the position. She can definitely make the money. However, she wants to start out the gate doing her own. Okay? So, success versus fulfillment. She knows what she wants. So she's not even going to start at a level. Because me, I always tell people, well, go work for somebody else and see how the ropes go. See what you got to do. See, the processes, the different things, learn, build. But she wants to come out the gate with herself. So, hey, because that's her fulfillment. Her thing is because I want to do it still under the regulations, but how I want to do it. And I want my time to be my time. So those was her words. So I was like, okay, cool. And sometimes we don't understand that because a lot of times we get too afraid to make such a bold move, okay? Because if you went to college and you graduated, 9 times out of 10, your parents or your guardian was like, okay, you go to college, you get your degree, you get out, you get a good job. And some folks' parents told them what they had to study in college, right? So a lot of people, I know so many people that have went to school for something that they don't even want to do, as a career. And so we kind of get comfortable in a space. So then when we do have this feeling of, hey, I think I want to tap into what I like. Yeah, I've been doing this as a hobby, but guess what? I really like this. Like, this has become my passion. So now you making cakes has become this side hustle, so to speak, for you, because you started off, you made the cakes for your kid's birthday, or a family member, cousin, nephew, auntie, uncle, whatever. You have become, whenever there's a social gathering in your family, you've become that person that, okay, you gonna make the treats, right? And so you now realize that you love this. This has become your passion. You love doing it, okay? But you have this job and you don't really like your job. But how do you shift from, I'm making over $50,000 a year, to I'm about to gamble and step out on faith and just do what I enjoy? That's that success versus fulfillment. And we battle with that sometimes. I know I have. I have definitely been in that battle with success versus fulfillment, or need what I need versus how long can I wait not to have. Yeah, that's a thing too. Okay. Which brings me to my third point: creating your own success blueprint. This is where we get personal and practical. Success might mean being emotionally available for your children, living debt free, or finally publishing a book. Not just climbing the corporate ladder. That's what it's called, corporate ladder. I was trying to figure out what was that saying people say when you move up. Corporate ladder. See how that just came on for me? Thank you, God. But yes, not just climbing the corporate ladder. Success for everyone is different. And I am grateful and blessed to say that for all of my children, yes, I've worked, but I've always been available to do school field trips, pop-ups for lunch, volunteer at the school. I mean, I've been a part of PTA since my oldest son, who will be 23 in 2 weeks. Whoa. My oldest son, who will be 23 soon, since he was in Richmond, Virginia, have this it wasn't pre-K, it was called it was like a VPI program or something, like since he was 4. Okay, so he wasn't even in kindergarten at Westover Hills Elementary School when I was like, hey, PTA. And I knew about PTA because his grandmother was PTA president a couple of years prior. And so I knew about PTA, and I knew that I wanted to be a part of this whole PTA thing. So being available for your kids emotionally and physically, just being able to not have to worry about, okay, I'm going to take this day off for the field trip, but, am I going to get dinged for taking this day? Like, so many things come with having to take time off, because it's like, oh, well, do you even have the time to take off, first of all? And if you don't have the time, then it's like, oh, well, you don't get paid for it. Or, some companies might be on, that 3-strike rule where now you taking too many days. Now you got to get this verbal warning. And so much comes with wanting to be a part of your children's educational journey. But then is that practical part. Like, what makes sense? Like, yeah, I want to go on the field trip, but if I don't have a job, then shoot, I ain't gonna be able to go, and she ain't gonna be able to go. Or he ain't gonna be able to go. He gonna have to stay home because I can't pay for the field trip. So it's like, it's that battle. It is that battle. But when creating your own success blueprint, you have to be honest with yourself. Because if you're not honest with yourself, it's not going to work. And what I mean by that is, yes, you might have the absolute best idea. I mean, great idea. Why? Because this is something that you've been doing, and you just know you can make money from it, and you know it will be successful. Because we all claim success. But practically, how does this really look for you? How does leaving your job really look to you? Especially if you're a person with a family. Now, if you don't have no family and you just out here and it's just you and you live that life of on edge, then hey. But if you're a person with responsibilities, children, spouse, home, responsibilities including your bills and things like that, then you have to also look at the practical part. You have to understand how this blueprint of yours is going to work. And I know people don't use them often today, a business plan, but let me tell y'all something. I wrote a business plan and I absolutely hated it. Let me tell y'all, if you have a business and you have not written a business plan, go write one. Go write one right now, because I guarantee you it's going to be parts of your business that you're going to have to write where you ain't even gave it 2 thoughts. And that was, for me, that was most of my business plan. Where I felt like I had all of the answers. But when it got down to writing this business plan, I was like, wow. Just things we didn't think about, and that's the thing when creating our own success blueprint. We just have to be smart about it. We have to be strategic about it, and we have to think practically, because just because you see someone else doing it don't necessarily mean your route is going to be like their route. And you don't have to come out the gate running. Baby steps, maybe side hustles, maybe jotting down your ideas. I'm taking y'all back to this journaling thing. Okay? All of my episodes I've talked about journaling because journaling is a part of the healing process. You have to write these things down. Journaling will help you get your vision out of your head. You being able to see it will help you a whole lot better than all of these thoughts just in your head, and now you just have them and you can't see them. You know what they look like because you know they're in your head, but you can't actually see the vision of what this business blueprint look like. Because in order to have any success with drawing up this blueprint, you have to set boundaries. You're going to have to set boundaries. You're going to have to understand, okay, is this practical right now? How can I do this where it makes sense? Where it won't hurt my family? Because see, a passion can turn dreadful quick if there is lack of income coming in, bills piling up, and then you have all of these things around you because in your mind you just knew that this was going to be successful. But yet you've turned this successful thing into a stressor. You are burnt out, lack of income, and now you have caused yourself more mental stress than mental wellness. And that's the thing that we don't want to do. We don't want to cause ourselves more mental stress than what we need. This is why redefining your success is so important. You might have to do this several times a year because it's needed. Am I still on the same track that I want to be on? We have to redefine these things and reevaluate. You know how you get a yearly evaluation on your job? We have to go through those same evaluations of ourselves to make sure we still on the track that we want to be on. And that's what redefining your success really is all about. Unpacking and getting rid of that notion of what society say the definition of success is, and then understanding your success versus your fulfillment, because that is a thing, and we have to understand that it's not everything don't always go together. Okay, so it's success and then it's your fulfillment. Okay, then creating your own success blueprint. This is something that can only come from you. Only you can create your success blueprint. Nobody else has your vision. So understand that. I can't express enough to any of my listeners, my followers, my friends, my family that journaling has definitely been a thing. It is a thing that helps on many levels. Journaling is not just for personal, I'm stressed, I have depression. No. Journaling helps bring out the things, whether it's visions, you talk about some of the things that you want in journaling. You talk about some of the things you want to do, places that you want to go. It brings out so much that you have inside of you, and it just brings it to the forefront so you can see it. So now you can go back and you can read it and a lot of times act on what it is positive that you have written down that you want to do. So I definitely recommend, when doing that successful blueprint, journal it. If that is an easier way for you to get all of your thoughts out, journal it. And I promise you, it will definitely be successful. All right, as I wrap up this episode, I want to leave you with a reminder. Success isn't a destination, it is a journey, and it's yours to define. So whether your version of success is building a business, nurturing your mental health, that's me, raising resilient kids, shout out to all my stay-at-home moms, or simply waking up and trying again, it matters and it is valid. Take some time this week to reflect on what truly brings you joy, peace, and purpose. Write it down. Say it out loud. Own it. And remember, it's okay if your definition of success looks different from someone else's. Why? Because it should. It definitely should. So, thank you for tuning in to the Apology Accepted podcast. If this episode resonated with you, be sure to subscribe, leave a review, and share this with someone who needs to hear it. Until next time, take care of yourself, stay grounded in your truth, and keep redefining your success your way. Thank you for tuning in to the Apology Accepted podcast. If this episode resonated with you, be sure to subscribe, leave a review, and share with someone who needs to hear it. Until next time, protect your peace and keep choosing yourself. Thanks for tuning in to another episode of the Apology Accepted podcast. I hope today's conversation sparked some growth for you. Be sure to subscribe and share with others who might need this reminder too. Until next time, you all, remember, healing starts with a simple apology. Take care.